Hey guys, Steven here, Fanatic Perspective. Sorry for the delay, but we are here. I got the Unfiltered Longhorn Talk crew, Chris and Vashon. I want to see. This is going to be a conversation. We're just going to go over some notes, compare some notes from Texas, Ohio State. I want to hear from these brothers their perspective. We have not spoken, the three of us, um, and so I have no idea how y'all feel. I know I've been out here, not hitting the panic button or anything like that, but also being honest with what we saw on Saturday. So just want to get y'all's feedback, right? And compare notes and share what you saw, and then where we're headed. Are we on the right track? Have your expectations for the season changed with anything? Is there anything where you are hitting the panic button? So Vashan, I'll kind of start with you, brother, and then we can kind of coast from there, man. Where's your head at right now? And then, what'd you see on Saturday?
Man, you know me, Steve. I'm gonna give y'all the pure, unadulterated my thoughts on it. It's not. It's too early to hit the panic button. But I will say this: it just shocked me more than anything was Arch being a guy in the system in year three. Some of the mechanics. Um, that really took me back. I mean, and I look. I've heard everything. I've read everything. I had time to sleep on it. Went and rewatched the game. Uh, I just, it was very uncharacteristic of him because last year I did not, unless wasn't paying much attention, I didn't see the bad mechanics last year. Matter of fact, you would say one of the Mannings superpowers is reading defenses and good mechanics. We know they're going to usually have those two things. What I saw was the opposite. Uh, even the sidearm throws shocked me. Now coming out of camp, I had read. I don't know who wrote it, and one of those mods they snuck it in. They was like, "Hey man, yeah, quit missing a few underneath throws, the shorter throws." And I do know it's a few quarterbacks, sometimes younger quarterbacks, they're very good at the deep ball, but then they kind of struggle with the shorter to intermediate throws. Uh, but some of the throws I thought it was nerves. Just him trying to throw it too hard. I think the first throw he was trying to throw it too hard. Uh, and then some of the throws, I think the timing was just off. Now, I will say this too, Steve and Chris. I'm not putting all that on him because I saw Dez Bryant tweeting. I saw other coaches. I had a lot of time to look at it and break down the film, and I seen NFL people chiming in. Hey man, some of this is on these receivers. I never played receivers. I don't understand the position. I just know football a little bit. I'm not an expert, but I was listening to them. And they was like, no, Wingo's supposed to snap the route off right here. He's supposed to give Arch a better throw. So it wasn't all on him. But Steve, I came on here, you and Simp, and I told y'all, based upon I thought we would not have growing pains at that position, it kind of shocked me. Look, Victor, it kind of shocked me. And
Well, hold on. When you
now,
say not
yeah.
have growing pains at the
Oh,
position,
yeah. Let me clarify that.
yeah, because that like, what were your expectations then? You know what I mean?
My growing pains of
The elementary fundamental things, like,
yes,
gotcha.
yes. I thought it would be a little smoother transition because of he sat 2 years. But then again, you got to play into your mind because you gotta have full context. You got to have full context. What Matt Patricia was running over there was some NFL Super Bowl winning type stuff. I mean, he was, and then it was the first game of the season. Matt Patricia had about, I don't know, 5, 6 months to prepare for this game. So you got to take all of that in. You really got to. You got to really just take all that in before you just truly judge him based on this. Now, what we're gonna hope, and look, what we're gonna hope, guys, this was just an anomaly. This was just the nerves. It was just his first start on the road, all the expectations, all of that. So you're gonna hope that's it. But I will say this: it shocked me the way we looked offensively, and I know we're gonna talk about it later. But defensively, no, I ain't got no questions. We ready. And defenses are always ahead of offenses the first game of the season. We saw that the other day. Now, the other thing, too, and I don't want to take up the time, Sim, but K. Klubnik, he didn't look all of that polished. Muschamp, he looked it okay. I mean, I don't think too many people lit it up opening, the second week of the so
You mean
we'll talk.
Nussmeier?
Yeah, Nussmeier. Did I say Muschamp?
It's like I think you're talking
Nussmeier.
about Nussmeier.
I don't know why I call that dude Muschamp.
I will say
But
something about Nussmeier though.
yeah.
In defense of him, I
Yeah.
like the way he managed the game because his problem has been he turns into a gunslinger and get real radical, and we saw that the second half of Texas A&M where he just completely unraveled. And I felt like at least in the Clemson game, if nothing was there, he didn't turn a bad play into a horrible play. He just kind of waited and took his shots, and then he was really good in the second half. So I'm going to defend Nuss a little bit. I know they didn't score. He didn't light it up. He didn't.
Yeah.
But sometimes you got to recognize what type of fight you're in. Sometimes this is a game where we're just going to have to win 17-14, and you have to manage the game accordingly, right?
Yeah.
And so I thought he did a very good job of that versus Cade Klubnik didn't. If you think about that game, like that's the difference. If you look at the poise between the two, but go ahead.
Yeah, and like I say, man, it was, just you go around and looked around college football. Besides, if you was playing a cupcake, OU, A&M, guys that actually played some competition, nobody really looked at like just set college football on fire. So I'm gonna give him a little bit of grace on that because he deserves a little bit of grace. And look, let me say this too, Steve, and I got to get this off my chest.
Please.
I see the media. I see y'all bashing this kid. But let me remind you about Arch Manning. He never bragged, Steve. Arch Manning never came in and said, I'm this, I'm that, I'm this. You never heard that from his uncles. You never heard that from his dad. You never heard that from his grandpas. All you kept hearing from that side was, and even Cooper, his dad, was, no, we need to pump the brakes on my son, on my nephew, on my grandson. He's going to be there. He's going to be there all until he's a senior. He's going to play 2 years. They kept telling us this. But as fans, and I'm guilty of it myself, as fans, I think we just like, oh yeah, whatever, Oh man, he finna go in there and light it up. He gonna be the number one quarterback. He gonna be throwing for 350 yards a game. Blah blah blah. You name it. I think we kind of turned our blinders off, and I'm admitting it because I'm talking to myself that nah, man, Arch gonna come in there and he's gonna be just light it up and win a Heisman and win a national championship and ride off in the sunset. Meanwhile, his camp has been telling us the whole time. But I partially blame part of the media for that too, though. And I understand it comes with the name, it comes with the territory. He's a Manning. But now the media wants to go out and say, oh, well, he really ain't done this and this and that and that and this. But then you go back a year earlier and look at some tweets that the media made a year earlier. They're saying, oh, yeah, he's better than Quinn. He should be starting over Quinn. Where that energy at? What happened to that energy? Now, all of a sudden, you say, yeah, well, I didn't really think he was that good anyway. Really? You guys the one ranked him the number one. You guys the one put him as the Heisman candidate. You guys did all of that. Arch Manning never said that. He never said that. And that's why I feel bad for the kid, because Arch is humble, bro. He's very humble. He doesn't go around and say, oh, I'm this and I'm that and that and this. He's the exact opposite. So I didn't think he deserved to be put up on that, and then you want to tear him down. Everybody start questioning him. I even had to go back in my mind. I'm like, man, is he really this bad, or is this the defense, or is his nerves? So but I will say this too, and I'm gonna shut up and listen to Sim. Man, go back and watch the game. He got a little better. He got better as the game went on. As he got more reps under his belt, he started standing in the pocket. He started reading a better defense. He started making the right throws. That gives me hope. And guess what? If this Ohio State Matt Patricia-led defense is what we think they are, Steve, that could be the best defense. I'm not saying it is. It could be the best defense we see all year. I definitely would want to see him again. But
Yeah, I think the only person that could, the only team that I see that can do all of the complexity that they do is Kirby and Georgia. I think that's
yeah,
the only team I see on our schedule that can, when we're talking about at that level of execution, right? I'm not saying
yeah,
we won't see other good defenses. I'm not saying that there's going to be cases where we're going to see some really good defensive end play or really good individual linebackers. We're going to see very good individual players, but collectively 11 people playing the way Ohio State did with that type of football IQ, pre-snap and post-snap, Georgia's the only other team that I see that can replicate that. I don't want to hear about OU and all this type of stuff. I don't want to hear, no disrespect, but like in regards to what Ohio State was doing, to where you did not know if they were in man or zone
didn't know
pre-snap.
it.
They
Yeah,
were hiding everything. That's not been an issue for us when we've played. Like, we know Brent Venables, we know certain defensive coordinators, even Elko. Like, we know those are the teams we're actually really familiar with. This was a
yeah,
case where Matt Patricia pulled a gotcha from the NFL. I've talked about Sark against these NFL coordinators and the success he's had. Well, I got proven wrong too. So you talked
yeah,
about, some humble tea with Arch. Well, that also applied with Matt Patricia, because they were some of those routes, they were running the routes for the receivers. That's
yes,
preparation and understanding
yes,
of,
yeah,
these guys want to run crossers, they want to run overs, they want to run in breaking routes, and they're going to play action on first down. Go watch the Bill Belichick clip. We shared it in the group chat from 2017.
yeah.
So some of that is just lack of evolution. Regardless,
Mm,
there were still beaters there. Whether
yeah,
whether whether or not, the beaters were still there. Like, to Quentin's point, thank you for the super chat, Quentin. I want to. I'm gonna try to speed this up because I got some super chats in here. But thank you for the donation, brother. But this is exactly like Sark called. I do agree with this. He called a good enough game to win. But
mm-hmm.
once Patricia muddied up the field enough, when there were busts, and I didn't think there were watching the game, but when the all 22 came out and you started seeing some Ohio State corners drift a little bit, and it's like, wait a second, DeAndre Moore's wide open. Like, but it's later in the game. It's like
Yeah,
when everything's already mucked up and
yeah,
the boy is not seeing it. So again, we have to have, I think we do need to reset expectations. If you're one of those Texas fans that was expecting Joe Burrow 2019, I think this is the time to say, you know what, let's ease into this. Let me reset. Because here's the thing, here's the good news. You don't need that to win a national championship. Like,
nope.
we have to understand what Texas has already built defensively and with the talent they have on offense, they just need I'm not saying they need a game manager. They need more than that. But they don't need this superstar Omega Cam Newton quarterback to win it with this team. He can develop and we can still win. That's how good this defense is. And that's what the schedule reflects to me. But if you're still out here thinking that he's going to come out here and break all the Colt McCoy's records year one and all this type of stuff, and he might, I mean, who knows? He might throw for 20 touchdowns in September. Who knows? But I do think it is fair this is the right time to reframe things and understand, okay, he is a college quarterback. He just played his first road start. I know I'm frustrated, like Bashan. I thought there'd be better poise and better mechanics for somebody that's been in the program for 3 years. But you know what? We saw what we saw. It is what it is. Let's grow from there. Now we know what we got. Let's go from there. We can still win. We can still win. I'm not worried, in those regards. But this is the time to reset. Chris, I'm going to get to you here in a second. I want to get to this other super chat that we got from my man Amin. See, this is a good example of what I'm talking about. Okay, Amin said, "I was expecting 2020 Mac Jones, first time starter, multiple years in the program, completing simple throws to open receivers. Will probably be fine, but I'd be lying if there wasn't some doubt." Chris, I know you're chomping at the bit, but I really want to address this because I love Amin, and I'm gonna just roll for a second here. I've thought a lot about this because I think a lot of people were expecting, with Arch's skill set and Steve Sarkisian, this might be the time we actually see that 2020 Bama offense. And again, Amin, thank you for the super chat. I don't think we will ever see that type of offense under Sark, unless he changes play callers. And here's why. Here's why. The game has changed. We're not in 2020 anymore. Football evolves very quickly. And when you see how these teams are playing match cover 3 now and mixing in Tampa 2, brother, one of the main reasons why Ohio State is what they are defensively today is because of what Sark did to them in 2020 when he embarrassed them in that playoffs. I will never forget. They had linebackers.
I remember that.
Linebackers.
Yeah, I remember that.
Carrying Devontae Smith out of the slot upfield, running the same crossers that DeAndre Moore was running on Saturday. Brother, now that is Caleb Downs. Now that is Lorenzo Styles. All these Sonny Styles, all these hybrid defenders. They have evolved. Football has evolved. It's the same issue that Lincoln Riley is dealing with. And I know they put up 73 points against some randos, but in terms of where we are in football today, it's the same issue that Lincoln Riley is dealing with people adjusting to the RPO and people adjusting to GT counter and his marriage there. You have to, when you're killing somebody year over year, the way they were killing people, they're going to figure things out. I am not saying that we can't be awesome offensively. But the 2020 Alabama offense was generational. That was that 2020 offense and that 2019 LSU offense with Joe Brady. Those are probably the two best offenses I've ever seen run in college football, period. So I think it's okay to say, like, if we never see that type of offense, unless there's a period of evolution or we come across another play caller that is ahead of the game. Sark in 2020 was ahead of the game. The same way Jimbo Fisher was ahead of the game in 2013 with Jameis.
That's right.
And you can get caught up on real quick in this game. The same way that Air Raid was running the day. The same way that Art Browse was ahead of the game. There's periods where people are ahead. But the thing is, if you're not like an Andy Reid or a Sean McVay, and you're constantly changing and tweaking and taking from what is currently relevant, eventually people are going to catch on to you. You're not going to be out of the game. We saw Gus Malzahn come back and play the hits against Alabama. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Gus used to be one of them once until he
Yeah.
wasn't. But he came back and played the hits. His stuff still works, but it's not this game breaking. We've never seen this before. Ohio State's never going to be in a position where they have linebackers carrying receivers up the field like that. It's not the same thing. Mac Jones didn't go up against the Caleb Downs like that. They didn't even know how to defend that. So we have to be mindful of this. Now, to y'all's points, we can still win. The beaters were still there. Ryan Wingo's still open on a simple crosser on 3rd and 5. Don't miss the layups. We'll still score plenty of points. But in terms of expecting to average 50 points a game, I don't think we'll ever see that again. So I'm sorry, it was long winded, but Chris, let me get you over here. Take it away, sir.
Hey, so here's my evaluation of Saturday. I remember last year after Arch had made his last start of the year, and even after the Georgia game when Quinn, or I guess Quinn came back to Oklahoma, and he wasn't healthy, he was struggling a little bit. I would have people on my like Messenger or like friends, I'm in a group message with always, and these aren't Texas fans, or some of them aren't, they're fans, but they're not fans like us. But they'd be like, man, why didn't Arch playing? Like, don't you think he gives you guys the best situation to win, the best chance to win right now? And my answer was always like, no. And they're like, why? I mean, look at him. He's a 5-star. He's a Manning, you know? I think everybody took for granted that growth period, Saturday came, and that happens. We've seen it happen to the best of us. I think, let's say hypothetical for 1 second. Let's go back to last year. Do you remember that Georgia game we had at home when we're down at half and he brings Arch in? Let's say Arch actually plays a little better, like both quarterbacks. I remember the picture of everybody on the sideline, and Quinn and Arch both had that dead look on their face. I mean, it made it all over the place, man. But let's say that Arch is actually able to get us going in that game. And let's say, everything that Quinn did, throwing the 2 touchdowns to Blue in the second half, let's say Arch does that. And let's say, Quinn is not healthy like he wasn't. Let's say Arch finishes that game and finishes the season. Texas on Saturday, if Arch finishes last year, Texas wins that game. I think Texas wins that game maybe by 10 points. Here's the difference, though. If that happens, Texas not in the Final Four last year. There's growing pains, man. How do you want it? I mean, you're in the Final Four with a chance to, if you beat Ohio State, everybody thought you probably would have favored against Notre Dame. If Cam Williams keeps Jack Sawyer from, if he can just put a hand on him, you could have given yourself a chance. But here's the thing. Here's where I'm at with it, though. I'm not throwing it all on Arch. Yeah, Arch missed some layups. But I think what Sark needs to do, Sark needs to learn how to get Arch going a little early, like he was with Quinn. The second most important position on the Longhorn roster on offense is the tight end. Sark has said it to quarterback. It's the tight end for everything that they do. Like we said the last time we were here, we've got 3-4 good tight ends we can bring in at any time that we want. On Saturday, Ohio State was playing a light box. We carried the ball 37 times for 166 yards, 4.4 yards a carry. If you'd have told me before the game we'd have done that, I'd have been like, oh, we're going to win this game. Lights out. All right? There was a difference. The offensive line looked good, but not great. When someone is playing cover 2, you want to get 160-something yards, but you want to, I just feel like our running backs, there were some holes. I mean, Weisner, there was a play where Goolsby and Connor Stroh, pulled. And, I mean, Weisner got 10, 11 yards, didn't get touched. The first guy, one guy brought him down, I think Reisner had a solid game. He carried the ball 16 times for 80 yards. If you'd have told me Saturday that Cedric Baxter would have gotten 15 touches, 10 rushes, 5 receptions, I'd have thought we'd have won the game. The problem I have with the tight end wasn't used. If you look at Ohio State, whenever they went into the red zone, okay, with the one touchdown they score in the red zone, on first down, they were in 12 personnel. Second down, they were in 12 personnel. Third down, they were in 13 personnel. They had one running back, 3 tight ends, and a receiver. Fourth down, you know what they did? They went to 14 personnel. All right. Look at when we had the ball and we're in the red zone. We're in 11 personnel. We're inside the 10-yard line. It's first and goal at the 9. We're in 11 personnel. They still have a light box, and we're in the red zone. If you want to know what the problem was, that's the problem. You played Arch under center a lot. We were able to run the ball with Arch being under center. So what I'm doing if I'm the offensive coordinator, for one thing, when I'm the way I'm getting Arch started, if DeAndre Moore and Wingo can't get it going, Nick Townsend's out there. Nick Townsend played a good game. That guy blocked well. If Nick Townsend, I'm throwing a tight end screen to Nick Townsend. I'm getting Shannon involved. Spencer Shannon was wide open in an end zone. You know, I know I'm being long-winded. I'm going to wrap it up really quick, but I'm going to say that to say this, guys. If you're in 14 personnel, if you're in 13 personnel and you're under center, I mean, look at what we did Saturday. We look like a Big 12 team. You know, you got Weisner out of the backfield. You know, everybody knew you were going to do quarterback draw. I mean, use those tight ends, go under center. There's so many things you could do. You could give the ball to Baxter with all those tight ends in the game. You can have a lead blocker. You could have another guy, a couple of other guys on the line of scrimmage. You could do a play action pass. You could bootleg Arch, give them a run pass option. I just think when you have more tight ends, you have more versatility on what you can do. I mean, it's not as obvious, you know. And I'm not ready to throw the baby out with the bathwater. I'm not ready to replace Sark as our OC, but I just think he needs to just. I know the 2-back personnel and all those tight ends. That's our generation. That being said, a lot of times those linebackers don't really know what to do when there's 2 backs, when there's all those tight ends in there. I mean, we were too predictable. Like there was a time in the game where our messenger that we're on, Sean, we're talking, and somebody was like, "Boy, Arch is on the center a lot." I mean, it's getting to the point to where we can actually predict what's going to be called during the game. You know, Sean, I told you, he's probably going to run a reverse to Wingo under center. You know what happens 2 plays later? A reverse to Wingo. I mean, I think if we can tighten up, I think we can get the tight end involved. I mean, there's 5 eligible receivers on the field at all times. If your top 3 aren't getting it done, find the other guys, man. Get those tight ends involved. You know, you can't go broke taking a profit. I mean, why would you? I mean, you're going to throw 10, 12. I mean, especially if you're that confused, if you're seeing ghosts. I mean, I don't want him just to be throwing it to the tight end and the running backs for no reason. But I mean, same time, if you're going to be throwing it to the running backs, you know, Jaden Blue killed them last year. Why did Trey Weisner only have 1 catch and CJ Baxter coming off an ACL had 5? Why did Baxter only have 1 rush in the red zone? You know, if CJ Baxter carries the ball 10 times in this game, 4 of those times need to be in the red zone. If that happens, I guarantee you we score and we either tie it and then
he had what, 1 carry in the inside the 5?
1 carry. And he got us to the
1 yard line.
Yes. Yeah. Yes.
So thank you, Chris. Let me address the super chats real quick, brother. So Quentin says, thank you for this. I'm gonna get to Karen's context. Rushing yards was fool's gold. They gave up the run until the red zone, then they tightened up. I don't think the run game will be this efficient. I do think that is a fair assessment in terms of what Matt Patricia was doing because they were playing coverage. They weren't blitzing a whole lot. They didn't send an extra hat. They did it very strategically. They were playing coverage until they needed to, right? And you're absolutely right, which is why even on the 4th and 2 early in the game, when they needed to button up and they actually came up and filled gaps, they did. So situationally, that's also how you have to judge the run game. But regardless, we didn't even get this last year. Let's also be fair, Quentin. We didn't get 80 yards rushing from somebody in a game like this. If we had at least gotten that last year, that would have helped too. We couldn't even run the ball when people were playing coverage against Georgia or Ohio State or Arizona State if we want to go there. So at least when they were playing coverage, we at least made them pay for it, if you know what I mean. But I'm totally with you when it came to situational downs and red zone, they 100% tightened up. When that was their focus, 100% it was different. I totally agree. And I think that leads right into Kieran's point about, and thank you for the super chat, brother. And again, congratulations on Speakeasy, which is debuting tonight after Cowboys and Eagles. So check out Shady McCoy, our Emmanuel Acho, and our boy Care Bear Kieran on there holding it down. But Kieran said, I'm going to be honest about our running back room. We can't break tackles as well as we used to. Also, looking around the country, there's a lot of backs that take over hours. And this is all about maximizing what is there, right? Can you get what's blocked and then some? Can you make a guy miss? You know, I just did a show. We were talking about the Cowboys-Eagles game with Landon, and he made a reference to Miles Sanders the year before being the Eagles running back, and the Eagles offensive line, and Miles Sanders could get 10 yards. And he was like, the difference is when Saquon got there, that 10-yard run became a 60-yard run. Same block, same hole, but the back, that's what the back can do for you. I do think Wisner ran well in hard. I think we are a little harsh on him considering what he's given us compared to where he was recruited and what we thought he would be, and already being 1,000-yard back. But we're also used to guys like Bijan and Jonathan Brooks, like top creme de la creme backs. Those guys, that's why they're generational backs. Like, not even John, like Bijan, right? Like, he's one of one. You're not going to get that every 5 years. That's why Ohio State, I kept saying they got greedy. Judkins makes a difference. CJ Donaldson's good. I think CJ Donaldson played better than people thought. But Judkins and Henderson are different. Like, they're different, bro. Ohio State would have had more than 100 yards rushing on Saturday if they had those two back there versus Donaldson and Peoples. That's my point, right? And so I see, I see this, but there's nothing we can do. The only thing we can say is, what does Christian Clark have? We're in September. And because I'm going to get my next thing is, what are the solutions, right? And to me, the solutions are who needs to be playing in September so that you can feel comfortable putting so-and-so on the field when SEC play starts. Vashawn, I'll start with you on that note. Let's take the conversation there.
Okay. Well, number one, I look at last year, Notre Dame lost second week. Northern Illinois. Everybody hit the panic button. They changed up. It was a running team. Right now, we have no identity. But hopefully, if now this is what we need to find out. And it's a lot of football left. We don't really know how good is Ohio State's defensive line. I see a lot of people saying, "Oh, no, I don't think they're that good." We're gonna find out. We're gonna find out.
We will. Because we're the only group that's faced those guys so far, because they had a whole new group. But I will say, Larry Johnson Sr.
Thank you. 5 stars, 4 stars, guys that been in the program 2-3 years, strength and conditioning, Matt Patricia.
Larry Johnson Sr., if you know, you know. I'm just going to leave it at that. Go ahead.
Bro, always got a stout D-line. We ran the ball effectively. And look, even when we didn't break a lot of long runs, we ran it. We still averaged 4.5, I think 4.6 yards a carry. And they did have a light box. They kept 6 in the block. They kept 4 down linemen, 2 linebackers. They kept a light box all the time. Like you say, they more like played the coverage. But it was encouraging to see us running the ball. Now, we went to more of a gap scheme. this year. I watched Connor Stroll because that's what I just sat there and watched Connor Stroll. Connor Stroll, hey man, I see why they started him over Neto. You know what I'm saying? So Connor Stroll, he did his thing. You know, I'm not saying he was a superstar out there, but he was solid. I just think this, man, Sark, don't, in my opinion, going forward, don't call the game to try to make Arch Manning a Heisman winner. Make him a good game manager. Play behind your defense, because I don't know who was that on there talking about Texas ain't got no great defense. Where you been at the last 3 years, brother? We've been top team the last 3 years. That's just fact right there.
Yeah.
But play behind your defense, use your running game, and then ask Arch to make the occasional, you know what I'm saying, the good deep throws. But we definitely got it, man. To me, going forward, we got to get these doggone wide receivers on track, man. Some of y'all ain't gonna like what I'm gonna say, but Wingo to me been in a drop, bro, since last year. You know, one of the things I had with Wingo was his route running a bit. He rounds his routes off where the DB could, you know what I'm saying, the DB could jump his routes because they
or
knew,
undercut him. Yeah.
or undercut him. I still see the same things. He's fast, but being fast don't make you a great receiver. That's why some of the best in the game are not the fastest in the game. But he definitely got to get on par, or we need to really find a true number one. I don't care who it can be. It can be anybody. But to help Arch out, I think the next 3 games, less challenging games, he needs to find out who's going to be his go-to guy. Jack Andrews, you throw it, it hits him in the hand, it sticks in his hand. It just stay there. It don't go anywhere. We know he's sure-handed. Can he get open all the time? I don't know. We'll see going forward. Livingstone looked good. Looked like he was the only one ready to go. DeAndre Moore was open. I got to give him that. You know, DeAndre Moore was open.
He got some crap throws out of
Yeah.
all the guys.
Out of all the guys, he got some of the worst throws, man.
He was open a lot. Yeah.
But I don't know, man. Going forward, brother, Sark, I thought Sark did an okay job, and I agree with everybody said too. They let us run light box. They tightened it up in the end zone because that's been Sark's MO for the last 4 years. Goal line. And I always say, Steve, to have a good goal line offense, you need to have your big boys up front be physical and out muscled everybody. If you can do that, then the running backs will have holes. Now, ironically, Baxter almost carried 3 guys into the end zone, you know. But I'm gonna tell you this.
That's Chris's point, though, right?
Yeah.
Because going back to his personnel point too, I think that's why Sark, one of the regrets he had in the post game. I mean, he said it. He said I should have called a timeout and gotten the jumbo personnel or whatever they call it, jumbo heavy. We didn't do what Chris. That's the difference. When CJ Johnson got in and they went 14, we tried to rush, and we didn't even have the right personnel on the. That's why people are like showing the picture of them being offsides. And yeah, where's Ohio State offsides? Sure, but it was the ball wasn't really going to move when you're offsides at the half-yard line. Who cares? Yeah. My thing is, if you're gonna run, like you have to have the right personnel on the field on 4th and goal. No excuses. Use a timeout.
Yeah.
And he didn't use the timeout there. Chris, I don't know if you want to. I'm taking you off here, but I don't know if you want to touch on that real quick.
Oh no, I just like what you guys said. What I want to see us improve on is like also where was Christian Clark on Saturday? You know, if you look at last year's game, I mean, I was there. The 2 touchdowns we scored, Jaden Blue was in our end zone. I was 3rd row. I mean, there was a point in the 4th quarter where we line up and, 11 personnel. We had the same. The running back was on the left side, which was Wisner, the right running back that needed to be in that situation. And Ohio State calls timeout. They knew that was coming. That's obviously a weakness of theirs. If there's a weakness of theirs, I mean, Christian Clark needs to be in that game. Cedric Baxter doesn't need to have 5 receptions. Cedric Baxter can play as many plays as he played, get as many carries as he got. I mean, I don't know, but maybe those need to happen in a red zone or short yard situation. Know your personnel. I love Cedric Baxter. I know Sark loves Cedric Baxter. But I mean, Cedric Baxter with the ball in the flat ain't fooling nobody right now because he's not 100%. Christian Clark is. Trey Wisner is. One thing that I noticed also on Saturday that we really done less than I've seen ever is targets to motion. If you look at targets to motion, the Jack Andrews, that 30-yard catch that Sark or Arch threw to Andrews, that was targets to motion. Andrews went in motion behind the receivers, ran just pretty much just an out route or whatever off of those guys. Those guys dragged everybody deep. I mean, that's a perfect throw. There was a point I was talking to Vashon about yesterday when we went target to motion with the fresh and McCutcheon. Arch, that interception that got called back, that got dropped. Arch was he was zeroed in on Ryan Wingo. McCutcheon went target to motion. The defensive back was 7-8 yards off McCutcheon. If he dumps that ball to McCutcheon maybe wins that matchup with that guy because the guy's coming up to chase. And then you have either a 15, 20-yard gain. Lord knows what you have, man. We just need to see more targets to motion. We need to see more things more targets to motion will make the Sark screen work. You know what I'm saying?
That's a good point.
Big time.
It would activate the screen game. Now,
yes.
To kind of piggyback on that schematically, you have to. This is why when I say full menu, Sark's offense is very big and robust, but they just forget certain elements sometimes. There's times where you need to the motion is important, and those examples that Chris you just threw out there, I think are 100%, and I do think it helps your screen game. But there's also times when I'm watching TCU versus Bill Belichick where they're just going full blown tempo and not letting them set up the defense. And I think Arch and them were able to do that later in the game too, when they just were able to just get up there and snap the ball. Don't let Caleb Downs get 15 seconds to do all this nonsense. And guys are, shift because when you're motioning, you can't go tempo. You got to pick, right? Like you either got to line up and snap it if you're going tempo, but if you're going motion, you're kind of slowing down and you're trying to get the right matchup and design against that particular defense. So Sark's offense is set up to do both. That's my point. You can do both. Just I need you to run tempo when the game flow or the defense is starting to figure stuff out and they're messing with you pre-snap. Well, then beat them to the punch. Don't let them line up and set their defense up, right? And so those are just the little things that I wanted to critique when it comes to Sark, because everything should be available, especially in the big games, but we won't see that now until really Florida, right? Where we really will get in that situation again against a good team. But that's an adjustment I want to see from Sark, because that's not even him evolving as a play caller. That's actually more of a head coaching thing of when you want your team to go up tempo versus them really understanding motion. We should be doing both. That's my point. Chris, who do you want to see? I know you mentioned Christian Clark as well, about not playing in the Ohio State game. Who are the guys that you're like, I got to see this guy play 20, 30 snaps on Saturday that did not get opportunity in the Ohio State game?
For me, I think it's Nick Townsend at tight end. There was a play where he lined up in a slot. He went in motion. We ran it right up the middle. Townsend took that defensive end and literally just wiped him out. I mean, I literally we need to mix up this personnel. I mean, I know 11 personnel is big for Sark, but when it's not working, man, you got to mix it up, man. You got to get other tight ends involved. Like we said, it's the second most important position in Sark's offense. If you get more tight ends involved, the better the run game is and the easier you're going to be on your young quarterback. there's not so much pressure on Arch to deliver and be the hero. You'll actually be able to truly run the ball. And then, hopefully that opens up even more for Arch. Hopefully, you can get these guys out of a cover too, and you can be able to hit Wingo and these guys, open. Not everybody's going to be able to beat us and play like Ohio State did with a light box, though. Maybe Oklahoma can do that. Maybe, I don't know, maybe Georgia can too, for sure. But other than that, I don't think anybody else who can do it on the remainder of our schedule. That's why I'm positive about this. That's why I'm not freaking out yet. Like that's one game, man. I'm glad it happened now. I mean, a loss is going to happen this year. I mean, learn from your mistakes. You're muted, Steve.
My bad. I know some people may be thinking, it sounds like we're being super, super critical, but really we're this is the micro breakdown of the game. This is just straight football. We would do this in a win. We'd be talking like we talk like this in a win, right? Because we're trying to win. We're trying to win the SEC. It takes a certain standard, right? If you want to hear Sky is Falling radio, go check out the Alabama channels. I love those brothers. They're my friends. What was happening over there, that is Sky is Falling radio. That is doom. That is doom to the nth degree. Okay, we are not talking like that over here. But what we are seeing are calling out are things we've called out before with Sark. These are nitpicky things, but these are the reasons why what's his record against top 6 teams now? 1-6 or something like that. That's what we're talking about because we just played one of those teams. But optimism wise, I feel great, especially watching a lot of these teams that weren't Ohio State. You can make the argument that the two best defenses, I think this was the case. Maybe this is just me. You can make the argument that the two best defenses were in the same freaking town on Saturday in America. I don't know if anybody else is playing defense at the level that Ohio State and Texas were playing at least as of week 2.
Yeah.
Things can change. Yeah. Injuries, players come on. We're gonna find guys that did not play in the Ohio State game that are gonna become key contributors in SEC play. Watch. But right now, I honestly thought coming into the season that Bama's defense, I was wrong. I thought they would be fantastic with all the people they had coming back. There's some couple other teams out there. Like I knew Michigan was going to rebound well, but like Texas and Ohio State played defense to me at another level than some of these other teams. I mean, just look at the communication of both of the teams. So, I mean, Julian Saint's a talented quarterback. I know he's young and everything, but he was up there rated with DJ Lagway for a reason. Plus, here's the other thing, guys. And this is for the Penn State guy in here saying we don't play defense. We didn't play well. I don't know what that means. We held Jeremiah Smith again under 50 yards. Who else is locking up Jeremiah Smith like this? People saying he might be the best player in the country. And that's against a different set of DBs. Andrew Makuba wasn't there yesterday. The guy that won the Thorpe wasn't there on Saturday. Yeah. We had different people out there, and we still locked them up. So give us some credit. You know what I'm saying? Like this defense is really like that. But anyway, Vashawn, where do you want to go in terms of moving forward? I'm focused on this. I'm focused on September. And how do we get all the data we need and all the confidence we need before we start SEC play? So what else do you need to see?
You find your identity. You got 3 games to do it. This is the good thing about it. Hey, props to Texas for jumping out there on the road. I think 3 years in a row, Steve. We went to Alabama. We went to who was that last year? We went to Michigan on the road, and then you jump out there and you go to
Columbus,
to Ohio State. That's 3 years in a row, guys. We jumped out there and played top competition, unlike some teams, out the bat, and not even at home. So anyway, props after that. You kind of want to see where your team is at. We know where we at. We know we got some work to do. You got some film to do. Again, we seen teams. The best time to lose is early in the season. You got things you can work on. But I think we just need to find our identity, bro. And I think it's going to probably be, of course, we know it's defense. That defense, man, anybody saying that was not a top-notch defensive effort is crazy. Because you can't, when I say you hold a team to 200 yards total offense, that's beyond elite. That's just not you could just, an average team can get 300 something yards offense in today's game. But 200 yards, man, that's some ridiculous stuff. So I really believe that defense is legit. And how about my man Grayson Littleton? Bro, man, a true freshman. And I told Victor and
He
Cynthia
looked like a
earlier,
star.
bro. I said, with all the 5 stars and 4 stars and DBs we got in the secondary, a true freshman is getting snaps. And we got those great minds. We got Akina back there. We got Mr. Orphany back there. We got all of these great defensive minds, and they put him at the star position. I said, no, man, you can't. That young man is probably special. And for him to run across the field on a crosser with Jeremiah Smith, hence I know somebody got in his way, but that dude was running with Jeremiah Smith. I think we got somebody. Hey, man, I'm telling you, Mr. Littleton gonna be that next dude. And who I'm looking forward to seeing, who didn't play, and I think it's because he got the DWI, is Nick Brooks. Is it Nick Brooks, the other lineman?
Yeah, Nick Brooks, and then this week it was Wardell Mack on
Yeah,
defense.
we're not gonna go there with Wardell Mack, Mr. Wardell Mack, in the middle of the week getting the DWI while you practicing after you just lost. Stay off 6th Street. Anyway, but anyway, Nick Brooks, I'm looking forward because they say Nick Brooks is, everybody from I talk to, oh yeah, he'd probably be a future first rounder, future second rounder at least. So I'm looking forward to adding him with the linemen that we got. I think we're a little more physical than we was in the past. But let's see. Like I said, we don't know. But like you said, Larry Johnson, you know what I'm saying? Real quick on the negative. Colin Simmons, love you. You heard us, bro. You heard us, Colin. The face mask, that cost us points. And Hill. Not so much, bro. He didn't. I'm gonna tell you who stood out to me. That dog on LaFowl played his butt off. LaFowl played his butt. Go turn the film on, guys. Watch LaFowl. He's undersized. He's short. He's small, but he sticks his nose in there. He was doing his thing. We just got to pick it up. So, going forward, Steve, I just want to see these guys come out here. I just really want to see the receivers get on the same page with Arch. And I agree with, I think David Andrews might need to be that number one option. Jack Andrews might need to be that number one option until I just don't think Wingo's ready for that spotlight. He might can draw attention somewhere else, but let somebody else do it, and then I think we can find our identity. Once we get our identity, I think we'll be ready for Florida. We got 3 games, and don't we got a bye week before Florida?
Yeah, they have a bye before
So
Florida.
technically, we got 4 weeks to prepare for Florida. Man, we should be ready by then. But I will say this, and I always say this: defense wins championships. As long, and we saw that with Ohio State. Ohio State had an anemic offense, 200 yards, and won a game. If that don't tell you defense wins, I don't know what tells you. But I will say this too, guys. As long as that defense is good, as long as PK I call him PKZ. As long as PKZ got them boys cooking, we're in every game. We're in every game. And I'm not saying Ohio State's offense is world beaters because we don't know yet. And I'm not going to crown them. Oh, yes, but they did a great job on Jeremiah Smith. But I will say this. In PKZ, I trust. I know we're going to have a top 5 defense. I think it's going to keep us in every game. I don't see I see some good offenses we got coming up, and I do believe Florida will be one of them. I'm going to be really, really, and I'm not skipping past these next 3 games because I want to see what we're going to do. But I think that's going to be our real next big challenge offensively for our defense. But if our defense can do what they can do, I think we find ways to win games. And that's all you need to do, man. Just keep playing. And guess what? How teams play in September, Steve, we already know. Don't mean how you're going to end up playing in November. You know what I'm saying? Or October. So you just want to keep striding, keep pushing, keep getting better. Usually offensive lines, guys, don't gel until week 5. It takes offensive lines to gel to get their communication. And I will say this, a coach pointed this out to me. Brandon Baker, guys, on the last play that he gave up the sack off the edge, he said he believes that Brandon Baker didn't hear the slide protection call because it was loud in there. He said Brandon Baker just, yeah. He's like, he didn't hear the slide protection call because he didn't even look his way. He was looking inside. He wasn't even looking out there. So he was like, yeah, I don't think he knew the call. Could that been Cole Hudson maybe not getting the best call in? I don't know. Missing Big Daddy Jake Majors. Like we've been. I mean, hey Steve, we had Jake Majors last 4 years. 4-year starter in big games. Jake Majors knew, same voice. Jake Majors knew how to make the slide protection. Calling this and that and this. So it could have been a variety of things. I'm saying that to say this: offensive line is going to get better. I believe the defense will get better. I believe Arch will get better. I'm hoping the wide receivers get better. Other than that, guy, that's all I got, Steve. That's all I got, Steve.
I love it. I love it. Let me get Chris over here. While I'm getting Chris over here, I agree on the punter. Everybody that's talking about the punter was fantastic. I need more of it. I need more of it when he has those opportunities. He kept us in the ball game as much. One of the reasons why Ohio State only had 200 yards was because of the punter. When you make somebody play out of their own end zone, it makes a difference. And then think about where we were starting the ball, right? So that's big time. Chris, what's your closing thoughts, man? How you feeling?
I'm good. I want to start with special teams first. Speaking of special teams, Ryan Niblett, I need him to start fielding these kicks. I need him, we need a punt returner with confidence back there. That last punt that he fair caught, man, it looked like he could have. I mean, obviously fair caught, but even fair catch super duper early. I think he could have gotten some yards. We need to be able to I think this team, believe it or not, is missing Silas Bolden right now. I mean, the guy scored a touchdown on a punt return against Arizona State. He didn't do a bad job. I mean, he scared us at times. He gave us a heart attack because that dude will field a punt when in front of 20 guys, but the ball just keeps hitting the ground. And I think we're losing field position. So I'd like to see that position, obviously, upgraded and taken care of. I do want to say this in closing with Arch, and I want to say this about our team, overall in general. Last year, like LaShawn said earlier on, Notre Dame lost to Northern Illinois with Riley Leonard at quarterback. You know what their last game of the season was? It was against Ohio State in a national championship. Okay? All right? I've seen all these Arch memes that are going around. Everybody, I mean, like Rashawn said earlier on, ESPN and everybody has set him up and made him a Heisman favorite.
There's some funny ones out there too, though.
Oh,
it is, especially when he looked like Dak. Look like Dak Prescott.
Adopted,
Hold on.
Steve, you got on green. You going for Philly?
Time out. First of all, this was for the man. This is not for Philly. This is corporate behavior earlier today. I didn't have time to change clothes. The Dak meme was the most ignorant thing I've ever seen, because if Arch Manning is if he became Dak Prescott, we're winning national championships every year he's here. Do y'all remember what Dak Prescott was at Mississippi State? Are we really doing this?
No. We're not talking Mississippi State.
We're talking. Okay, let's talk about Dak Prescott in the NFL. The guy, one of the best passers. Come on, man. Like, come
I'm
on.
gonna leave it alone. I'm gonna leave it alone.
Like that's if Arch is Dak Prescott, we're winning national championships. What are we talking about? What are we talking about? I watched the
guess
guy
we're
go into
talking about
LSU and run all over them and he's not even fast. So it's like, bro, not like the memes. I'm sorry, I just had to. I'm already hyped for the Cowboys game tonight anyway.
do
Buddy's
your
coming
thing,
back.
man.
Yeah. Anyway, let me hand it back to Chris. I'm sorry.
Back to what I was saying about Arch. I've been watching a lot of Texas football, during my life, and everybody paints Vince Young at times as this mythical figure after the fact, and talk about him as a big game player or whatever. Man, I've seen Vince Young get booed off the field twice at home in Austin. I saw it
Yeah, he
a
did.
2003
Yeah,
game, senior day game against Texas Tech. The
yeah.
crowd was yelling for Chance Mock. I was sitting right
Chance
there.
Mock came in and
Chance
saved
Mock
that
came
thing.
in. When Vince Young came in the series before last, they were booing. A year later,
I wonder
Texas,
how many fans. Just real quick, how many of y'all knew that on here? Because we remember this. We remember these things. They booed
yep,
the mess
Yeah,
out
I
of
remember when
Vince.
Chance
yep,
came in.
Vince looked
yep,
it horrible.
yeah, yeah. It's
Yeah.
2004.
Yeah.
2004. There's Texas, Missouri. It was after the
Mhm.
Texas LSU game the week before where Vince struggled. Texas is playing Missouri. Ramon Taylor throws a 35-yard pass. Vince Young makes a dive and catch. There were people on these boards back then that were saying Vince Young needs to
Moving
play
the receiver.
tight end or receiver. He didn't have the brains to play quarterback. You know what happened that week? Ryan Perilou, a five-star signee or five-star oral commitment to Texas, was out on social
Mhm.
media saying, "Hey, if Greg Davis, he's not the problem. If he had a quarterback that could throw, he'd be fine. Leave my offensive coordinator alone." All right.
Mhm.
You know what happened 6 weeks later after that? 6, 7 weeks later?
He
The Rose
decommitted.
Bowl. The Rose Bowl, the Michigan game. I mean, Cedric Benson gets hurt one of the first plays of the game. He still finishes the game, but, he's pretty much a decoy. VY won that game, man. Like, that was 6, 7 weeks later. Like, Longhorn Nation was ready to we're crucifying this guy against Missouri, saying that Ramont Taylor was a better quarterback than Vince Young. And then 6, 7 weeks later, this guy is holding the Rose Bowl MVP, man. You can't give up on these guys, man. It's a long season. These next 3 games, Arch is gonna, he's gonna. I mean, he hasn't been playing a lot. I think he should be more naturally ready. When you're in a system 3 years, you should be a lot. You should be further along than what he is. But you know what? He's got 3 games to do that. I mean, we got to get that running game going. We give that guy some help. The sky's the limit. If you look at the last couple of years, the national champions had the number 1 defense in college football. Last year, Ohio State had the number 1 defense in college football. The year before, Michigan had the number 1 defense in college football. All right. Defense win championship. Defense in a running game travels. If we can keep these things going on the right way, we're going to be fine, man. We're going to be fine. I'll take Arch over Riley Leonard. Nothing against Riley Leonard. I'm sure he's a nice man, fine American, but give me Arch over that. We're going to be fine, guys. Book him.
Hey, Colt McCoy had the
The
same
sophomore year,
challenges.
right?
Yeah, I
Yes,
mean,
just sophomore year.
remember Jevin Sneed? Everybody wanted to
Yeah,
play Jevin Sneed. May he
yeah,
rest in peace. By the way, may Jevin Sneed rest in peace.
yeah. I forgot about
But
that. Yeah.
that was a thing, right? Because Jevin Sneed was a big recruit. We had flipped him from Florida, and Colt had the elbow injury. Like Colt wasn't him until his junior year. He was a good freshman. Let me think. His sophomore year, he struggled. Didn't he throw like 17 picks his
Yeah,
sophomore year?
yeah,
Like it was
yeah,
something nasty.
yeah.
And
It was
then
bad.
he
Yeah.
had an elbow issue. And then that
Mhm.
junior year, he actually put some real weight on. And we really committed to being an air raid offense. Like we really committed to being spread air raid. And the rest was history with Colt those last 2 years.
Oh wow!
Right?
Somebody said it was 24 interceptions. Good
Not his
gracious!
sophomore year. Y'all, it wasn't 24. It was like
That's a
17.
lot.
Maybe I'm even, but Somebody look that up. We got AI. We got Google Gemini all over the place. Somebody look that up. How many interceptions did Colt McCoy throw his second year as the starter at Texas? I thought it was like 16, 17. It was not 24 picks. It was not. It was not 24 picks. Not his sophomore.
Somebody just said it again. Oh, I don't know. Let me see. Throw.
He did not throw 24 picks his sophomore year.
I don't remember that many. That's bad. If he did.
Those are Eli Manning Giants numbers.
Let me see.
He said he stayed
17.
on
It was 17.
It was 17 picks. Okay, that was the first number I said.
He threw. Wait a minute. Why man? 18. AI don't even know what to say. They say 18 or 17. AI.
He threw 18 interceptions.
Yeah.
But my point is, people were worried. People were worried. There was so much concern, right?
Yeah.
Now I remember he had a really good bowl game where he hit that wheel route to Jamal Charles.
And
we won that bowl game. Yeah. And I think that was against UCF. Was that UCF?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know why I keep. Yeah, it's weird. I remember that game. I just can't remember the opponent. I don't know why
it was Arizona State. It was Arizona State.
Yeah.
Arizona State.
Arizona State. Was it Jake the Snake?
No, it was Dimitri Nance. Dimitri Nance was the running back from Trinity. That's buddy of mine's little brother. I think the quarterback was it Sam Keller? I don't remember if it was Sam Keller.
Rudy Carpenter.
Yeah, I think it might have been Rudy Carpenter, but I know that Dimitri Nance was the running back. Yeah.
I think it was Rudy Carpenter, but
Homer said he thought about throwing 24. Yeah,
he thought about throwing 24.
he had quite a few sack fumbles that year, though. He had some fumbles. Yeah. That's what.
Bro, if somebody threw 18, but can you imagine somebody throwing 18 picks in 2025? How
right,
Victor? We was 9-3, I think. Right, Steve? The 18 interception year.
No, we won 10 games. We won 10 games.
We won 10 games. The bowl game got us. But I think
the bowl game
what
got
I'm saying, we was 9-3 in the regular season. Yeah.
So that was 2007.
Yeah.
By the time it was 2008, that was the year where we were literally competing. We were supposed to be competing for a national championship, if not for the Gators.
Right. Yeah.
It was just 1 year later. Right. So just consider we're talking about Arch after one game, and he didn't throw no 18 interceptions. Think about how many picks you got to throw per game to get to 18.
God, that's a lot, bro. That's a lot. Yeah. That's a lot.
Context matters.
And he came back. Arguably, I don't know which one of y'all think his junior year or senior year was the best one.
His junior year was his best year.
Yeah, I think the junior year was actually the best team. Yeah.
His junior year, that was the best team. That Texas team was better than the 2009 team that played Bama. I stand on that.
Let me say this too, Steve, because I'm big on the mindset of a football player. I guarantee you guys, y'all know, and we all know, we all Longhorn fans. Some of y'all Oklahoma guys. I'm talking to you too. They tore down Arch pretty good. They tore him down. I know he's seen that. He got 2 Hall of Fame uncles. He got a great grandfather. I ain't gonna lie to you, bro. This probably was some real good medicine for him. And this is where, just like we talked about Colt McCoy threw 18 picks, Colt McCoy will come back like a vengeance the next year. Arch still has this season. And I guarantee you, his uncles, Peyton and all of them called him and talked to him to uplift him, to pick him up, and also help coach him a little bit too. They helping Sark. It's just not on Sark. Don't get it twisted, guys. This is a family thing. They help him. And I really believe, I want to believe he's going to snap back. He just need to play within himself. Don't try to be a Heisman candidate. Don't try to win the Heisman. Play within yourself. Bro, we got an all-American punter, off the chain punter. Play, get some first downs, make the right throw, make the right read, and play behind your defense and run the ball, and we're going to be fine, man. we'll be fine. That's it, brother.
I appreciate you guys coming on. Let me just say this real quick before I sign off. Um, Arch, I know somebody told me, I think it was Rob. You're talking about, the uncles and the grandfather letting the coaches coach him.
Yeah.
I agree. I agree with that, but I do think in a situation like this, they've been through this, and they've been through it a lot. And I think this is a time where, like Vashawn said, you're just offering words of encouragement and to say, "Yo, this is where you find out how much you love ball." Right? We found out Colt McCoy loves ball when he came back from 18, because he didn't just not throw 18 picks the next year. He changed everything. His body, his confidence. The guy almost completed 18. The guy was completing like 78% of his passes the next season. It was something that was unheard of. That's how much he loved ball. Having that encouragement on your side, to me, is only a strength. And I think the schedule is perfect for Arch. That's where it's really going to help him. He's a month to clean up everything before the conference play even starts. So even if he has a let's say a crap game for him, that's like similar to what he did at Monroe last year. Throws a couple picks, only has 3 touchdowns. We win the game. It's whatever. He still has 2 more games. So I'm not even like, now would I like to see him go out there and throw 5 touchdowns, 0 picks on Saturday? Absolutely. But even if he's still working out the kinks, he's got time. It's got 4 weeks before Florida. Before it's like, okay. And again, like Vashawn said, I don't need you to be a superstar. I need you to run the offense. I just need you to run the offense. Anything beyond that is icing on the cake for us in your first year as a starter. And that's okay. We can win. We can go all the way with that. Arch running the offense and just doing that is still better than Riley Leonard at Notre Dame. No disrespect. I agree with you, Chris. It's still better than that's what Will Howard did, and they won a national championship. Let's be honest. Will Howard ran the offense and he was smart, took care of the football, made timely plays when he needed to. Got drafted because of it. So I'm gonna get off my soapbox. Y'all make sure y'all subscribe. Vashawn, where can the people find you guys?
Hey guys, you can always find me on Unfiltered Longhorns to Texas Fanatics, either one. Holler at me, shoot me an inbox. Love talking ball. Me and Chris and a bunch of other guys, Simp, Charlie, you name it. Gold, Geo, we all just talk ball. We and Steve in there. So I just love, been a big fan of the Longhorns, love breaking down, love talking ball. Always looking at the game, I try to understand the game from the point of view, even when we win, what went wrong, what we could have done better. So anyway, that's where you find me, fellas. If you want to shout out, holler at me, let me know. Uh-oh. You muted, Steve?
You muted, Steve.
My bad. I'm trying to control the echoes.
I got you.
Yeah, Chris, final thoughts.
My final thoughts, man. We got to run the ball. Like we were talking about the 2007. Colt didn't really get comfortable until Jamal Charles those last couple of games. Once we really got the running game going. So let's get the running game going and see where we are. It's early. We can't panic, guys. We can't panic. That's it.
Appreciate y'all. Remember, hey, let me know in the comments if your expectations have changed. I liked Amin's super chat about, hey, I thought he was going to be Mac Jones 2020. It's okay. Where are you at now, right? Where's your head at? Let's be reasonable. And let me know how many, what you want to see against San Jose State and who you want to see in the game. Let me know in the comments. Y'all, hit the like button, subscribe the whole bit. Remember, horns always up. And go check out Karen's show tonight, Speak Easy. Emmanuel Acho, Kieran, and Shady McCoy. Love you guys. Peace.
Wow.